Day before SAG nominations, so we're going to take a look at what could be coming up in my predictions for the nominations, at least, because sometimes when we get into these races, Screen Actors Guild, Golden Globes, BAFTA, even Oscars, we have an idea going in based on, okay, this is who we think is going to get nominated, and then once nominations turn out, then it's like, oh, well, maybe if there's, blah blah blah, then you look into, okay, how many films have this many nominations, how many, and so forth, so on and so forth. All right, so we are going to, on top of that too, I will say as well that I'm doing some research here, and I've looked at the last 5 years for the individual acting awards here. Looking at their best ensemble, which is their equivalent to best picture award, however, you have to remember that they only have five. They only have five here, and that on top of that, there's 10, anywhere from 5 to 10 nominees at the Oscars. So it's going to be a little harder to crunch those and stuff. So we'll just base it on the four acting, and then I'll give my predictions for ensemble award as well. So where do we want to start here? Let's start with supporting actress here. All right. Yeah, if you've been watching any of my videos recently, I think just about every Oscar video I've been posting recently, or awards videos I've been posting, I've been talking about this debacle here with supporting actress, which is a real, I think, as I've been saying, until we get to nominations morning, we're still going to be scratching our heads as far as where is Rooney Mara and Alicia Vikander going to end up. Now, we know for sure, because it's on the ballot, they can't change the ballot, that they are both, Rooney Mara and Alicia Vikander, are supporting actresses. They cannot end up in lead. So that being said, those two are definitely, I think, getting in for sure. So I have those two. I have Kate Winslet getting in. I have Jennifer Jason Leigh getting in. And the fifth slot I have going to Rachel McAdams. I should name the films as well here. Rooney Mara for Carol, Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl, Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs, Jennifer Jason Leigh for The Hateful Eight, and Rachel McAdams for Spotlight. And looking at the numbers here, for the last 2 years, supporting actress has gotten 4 out of 5 correct. Let's see, it'll take a while to go into who exactly they got right and who exactly they got wrong. But I remember last year they did put in a weird vote for Naomi Watts for St. Vincent, which went absolutely nowhere. And I think more or less that was kind of a thing of, well, Naomi Watts was also in Birdman the same year. And I guess they kind of felt like, well, okay, Birdman already has 3 nominations here without the best ensemble, so why give it, 4, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, and then in 2013, like I said, they also had 4 right. Their average here, just like I said, this is just the last 5 years, 80% correct as far as getting those people nominated. So that'd be 20 of the last 25 nominees here in the last 5 years have gone on to be nominated at the Oscars, which is a good percent. So that does leave that one, questionably about one slot. The only time in the last 5 years they've gotten all 5 was 2011. So yeah, my thinking on Rachel McAdams over somebody like Jane Fonda or Helen Mirren or maybe even a Kristen Stewart in this case would be, well, Spotlight is going to have probably among the most nominations this tomorrow morning at SAG. I have it for sure getting in for Best Ensemble. I have it getting into 2 slots for Supporting Actor. So that's 3 already. I'm thinking they'll go 4 on this one. Birdman went 4 last year, and Birdman was, more or less our expected winner. Well, maybe at the time of nominations, but before we were thinking maybe the Boyhood Suite would come in, or maybe the Grand Budapest Hotel, maybe with its big ensemble cast might win. So, but yeah, I think this year it's no. I mean, I would say even if like something like The Revenant or Joy or just anything else really other than Spotlight, like Carol or something like that, if they just start winning everything, VGA, PGA, all that stuff, I still think this Screen Actors Ensemble Award is going to go to Spotlight no matter what. But anyway, so that's like I said, yeah, definitely Jane Fonda's a huge threat here. Helen Mirren, Joan Allen, Kristen Stewart. Um, yeah, I think those are, yeah, as I said, once we get past those four there, more or less five with Jane Fonda, there isn't really a whole lot of competition here. I think, again, assuming that Rooney Mara and Vikander are here on Oscar morning in this category, then yeah, I think Kate Winslet and Jennifer Jason Leigh are the only two absolutely 100% solid nominees. So that would leave three slots. So that would mean, yeah, for sure Jane Fonda would get one. Rachel McAdams would be in good shape, and then that would still leave one spot. Yeah. Let's go over to supporting actor here. I have Michael Keaton in the lead here. I have him followed by Mark Ruffalo, Tom Hardy, Idris Elba, and Mark Rylance. So Keaton and Ruffalo are for Spotlight, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Idris Elba for Beast of No Nation, and Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies. Again, if you've been watching my stuff recently, supporting actor is, I think, well, I won't say the tightest race because I think Keaton's been getting a lot of support. I mean, even the New York Film Critics Circle Awards gave him Best Actor, even though he's supporting, but oh well. Yeah, I'm really thinking he's in really good shape at the moment, at least. Then again, he was in good shape around this time last year too, and especially after Golden Globes. But and he didn't win. So, but I mean, when you look at just the level of competition here, I mean, these five, and on top of that, Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, Benicio del Toro, um, Jeff Daniels for Steve Jobs, um, among a few others there. Like, I wouldn't totally count out Harvey Keitel in Youth yet, or Joel Edgerton in Black Mass, or Paul Dano maybe could get a slot here for Love and Mercy. Jacob Tremblay in Room. There's all sorts of possibilities here. Looking at their of the four acting slots, supporting actor actually has gotten the best record here in the last 5 years. 84% accuracy. So that means if you count it up, that's 21 of 25 nominees in the last 5 years in this category have gone on to be nominated. Last year they got 5 out of 5. And then 2010 they also got 5 out of 5. So I'm thinking here the only one that I don't have in that I have getting nominated at Oscars is Sylvester Stallone. I'm thinking here that maybe maybe Idris Elba will be the vote here because this is actors voting on actors, and it's not only the film actors but it's also television actors voting here as well. And I'm thinking, Idris Elba does a lot of stuff on TV, like Luther and a couple other shows that I'm not a huge TV watcher, so I don't know every last show that Idris Elba does. But Luther, I know he's in good shape to be nominated in the miniseries category on the TV side. I won't get into that because like I said, I don't watch it, so I'm not as into that as I am into the film, definitely. And I think, he's never been nominated in the film categories anywhere before, except Golden Globes, I believe. I don't have to double check that, but and that was for the Mandela film a couple of years ago. But and yeah, at one point, Idris Elba was the front runner for supporting actor in not just SAG but also the Globes, also the Oscars. Maybe even he could have done some business at BAFTA. Being British definitely would have helped him, but I'm just thinking Elba just the competition's really strong, so I'm thinking like a Stallone who's been around for a long time, has worked with a lot of people. I'm thinking there, and he hasn't done, and the main reason I'm keeping him out here for SAG is Creed. I don't think is going to have much of a shot at getting like a best ensemble award. Maybe for the there's a separate category for like the best stunts, which I don't have any predictions for. Maybe Creed could sneak in there. I don't know. Like I said, I don't follow that, but I think Mad Max will definitely, if it's going to have any presence anywhere on SAG morning, it's going to be in that best stunt ensemble or whatever award that is. But so yeah, Sylvester, even though he's been around for a long time, worked with a lot of people, a lot of those don't include television shows. And when you have the television guys and gals voting here as well as the film people, and Idris Elba is more, into the film world, and then you have like Mark Rylance is on the stage, and that gives you a pedigree. On top of that, he's been doing very well at the Critics Awards. If he doesn't win, he's usually the runner up. Um, Tom Hardy, again, he hasn't been nominated really anywhere on the film side in any of these like Golden Globes, SAGs, anywhere. Um, and The Revenant, I think, will, and it has Leo in there too, so I think he'll get support there. And then Spotlight is the front runner here. So, and those two, I think for sure are locks to get nominated. So that's the way I see it. But yeah, definitely, I'd say Stallone, De Niro, and Joel Edgerton, I think too. And then I wouldn't count out also Christian Bale in The Big Short as well. Um, and we'll get to that reason in a few minutes here. All right, looking at Best Actress, I'm predicting Kate. I don't know why. I'm still up in the air about this. Kate Blanchett, I have still out front for Carol, Brie Larson in Room, Jennifer Lawrence in Joy, Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn, and I'm throwing in Carey Mulligan for Suffragette, but not very confidently. Um, See, looking at their track record here at SAG for the past 5 years, 76% accuracy. And for the last 2 years, again, they've gotten 4 out of 5 correct. So yeah, 76%. That would be 19 out of 25 of the last actresses nominated here get go on to the Oscars. And the big miss here last year with SAG was Jennifer Aniston, who also got in at Globes and I believe Critics' Choice. Maybe, maybe not. But anyways, yeah, I'm definitely thinking here that one of the 5 people here is very, very vulnerable at the Oscars. And if you look at the list here, Blanchett's a lock, Larson's a lock, Ronan's a lock, Lawrence is a lock. It's Carey Mulligan's definitely the expendable one here. Um, I'm thinking Lily Tomlin is definitely a big threat here, even though I don't think she stands much of a chance of getting nominated at the Oscars here for Best Actress. She will be, I believe, up for one of the television awards here for her Netflix show. I think what's it called again? I don't remember. I didn't watch it. Um, and sometimes they like to, as I said with Idris Elba being nominated in Luther, they will give you the 2 slots sometimes. Like I think we saw that last year with Ruffalo, because he had like the normal heart or something like that out last year, or or it wasn't the easy heart, it was the normal heart. Yeah, I was right. Um, Another definite possibility is Charlotte Rampling for 45 years. Um, Maggie Smith, I think, is a possibility for Lady in the Van. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be down to those 8, I think, are about it. Other than that, I don't see much else happening here. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely, and I think Lily Tomlin again worked on, had her own show on television, even though it was decades ago. She's getting back into it now with like the Netflix and stuff. So I'd say she's definitely a threat here. But yeah, so either her or Carey Mulligan, maybe Charlotte Rampling, but yeah, I have Maggie Smith getting in because she's in Downton Abbey, and um, yeah, I think she's only going to get that one. But anyways, but I would not completely count her out either. All right, let's go over to Best Actor. All right, I have Leo winning this. Leo DiCaprio for The Revenant. I have Michael Fassbender in second for Steve Jobs, Eddie Redmayne for The Danish Girl in third, Johnny Depp for Black Mass in fourth, and I have Bryan Cranston in for Trumbo in fifth place. Looking at their track record here, again, 76, so that's 19 out of 25 of the last nominees here have gone on to be nominated at the Oscars. Their big miss last year was Jake Gyllenhaal, which, I don't know, yeah, got in everywhere else, so I don't know why he didn't get into Oscars. Tough race. But this year, I'm thinking Cranston gets in over like Matt Damon or a Michael Caine or maybe even like a Tom Hanks, um, because the same reason I listed with like Idris Elba. Man, can you think of a bigger guy in the last, or guy or gal, I should say, in the last like 5 years, with the exception maybe of Chris Pratt, who got as much of a leap over to the big screen from the small screen? Yeah, it's Bryan Cranston, Breaking Bad. Aaron Paul, you could add to that too, and stuff. But yeah, and Chris Pratt definitely for Parks and Rec, and then moving on to just huge global superstar now with Jurassic World and Guardians and anything else he's doing. Cranston, he's gotten some high level stuff as well. I mean, Argo, even though that was while Breaking Bad was still going on, that counts. Godzilla last year, Trumbo here this year definitely, and I guess a couple other projects that are coming up in the wings too for him. So definitely, I'd say he's. I feel more confident on Cranston getting in than I do on Carey Mulligan getting in. Um, and I definitely think Depp, Redmayne, Fassbender, DiCaprio are very safe for the Oscar nominations, and really getting in everywhere. I think, with the exception maybe Johnny Depp might miss out at like a BAFTA or something, but definitely he's getting in for the Globes. They love him at the Globes. They've even nominated him for the stupid tourist movie, which I never saw, but I know it's terrible. So I mean, if he can get nominated for that, he can get nominated for Black Mass, where he actually gives a performance, for crying out loud. But yeah, like I said, Cranston is definitely. I feel more confident on him. But yeah, the big threat here is going to be Matt Damon in The Martian. Also on top of that, like I said, yeah, Michael Caine in Youth. Like I said, I was in my last video, which I did on the LA Critics a couple days ago. I mentioned that I was, I like to watch the Hollywood roundtables they do with, or the roundtables with Hollywood Reporter, and they had Michael Caine on there for Youth, amongst many other actors, and boy, they showed his clip from Youth, and I'm like, and I'm thinking. And I've been kind of on the verge of putting him in. Definitely, I think with him, less so. I think on Bryan Cranston moving on. I think definitely the Golden Globes. He's if he had stayed in the comedy race, he would have been a much bigger threat. But instead, they kind of had to classify Trumbo as a drama, which I think knocked him out of the race. Because I think definitely at the Globes, the drama race is pretty pretty much locked down. But boy, I'm thinking here. Caine, I think, and he's been nominated, as many people are pointing out, he's been nominated every decade since the 60s. He got in for Alfie in the 60s. He got in for, what did he get in for the 70s? Oh, Sleuth in the 70s. The 80s, he won for Hannah and Her Sisters. 90s, he won again for Cider House Rules. There we go. And I should mention, too, he also got nominated again in the 80s for Educating Rita. And then he got his sixth nomination in 2002 with The Good American or The Great American, one of those. I haven't seen the film, so I don't know, but it was like The Good American or something like that. This would be his seventh nomination, and it would be the first time that an actor or an actress, I believe, has been nominated consecutively in 6 decades. Unbelievable. And if there's an actor to do it, this guy, Michael Caine, he's the one to do it. We would have to wait, I think, another few years if Meryl Streep is still in the game, and by the time 2020 rolls around, which I think she will be, she would be 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. So that would be the next time we have an actor or an actress nominated in 6 consecutive decades. Caine is the one to do it, but then again, he has to overcome Matt Damon or Johnny Depp or Eddie Redmayne. Even Fassbender, I think, is starting to get a little bit more or less on the slightly expendable side. But yeah, of those 5 or 6, if you can include Bryan Cranston here, who does Michael Caine really have to pounce over? I think it's definitely Matt Damon, because I think Depp is fairly safe. Redmayne is fairly safe. Fassbender is very safe, and DiCaprio I think we can is a given to be nominated. If he gets left out, oh boy, it's going to raise holy hell in so many people's respects. But yeah, Kane, I would definitely say after seeing his clip, especially, I was like, he brings it. He looks like he's really going to bring it in youth. I haven't seen the film, so I don't know. And the trailer, even though the first time I saw the trailer a few months ago, I wasn't too interested. Once when it's I'm seeing it, again and again in theater or online or whatever. The more I'm seeing it, the more I'm like, you know what? I will see it when it comes around, when I can finally catch it. But I'm definitely thinking youth. Yeah, that's one to look out for. The only other one here, I think, besides him, Matt Damon, is Tom Hanks. Maybe a little bit on Ian McKellen for Mr. Holmes, but I think that noise, while it went up a few weeks ago, it's kind of buzzed back down again. Tom Hanks for Bridge of Spies. And the thing is, he's I kind of said it in my in an earlier video a few months ago, but I think while Hanks is great and he's just a legend in the acting community, he in Bridge of Spies, despite the fact that he gives a really great performance and that his character he's got a great character, the Mark Rylance guy character, his I can't remember the character's name in the movie, he overshadows him. And I felt like, yeah, even though Tom Hanks is spectacular and all that, Rylance steals the show because he has a little bit more. He's a little more quippy, and you're kind of, like I said, even though he's not present for almost all of the second and third act, there's almost like a whole hour and a half more or less of screen time when he's not there, and all during that time, you're still, even though Tom Hanks is on screen and he's dominating the screen and he's being great, there's a little inkling in the back of your head, at least a little inkling. For me, it was a little bit more of that, but it was like, I wonder what that guy's up to. I wonder what Mark Rylance is up to. So yeah, yeah, but still, I wouldn't totally 100% count him out either. So again, I got these five guys in: Depp, Cranston, Redmayne, Fassbender, and DiCaprio. All right, then moving over to the Best Film Ensemble Award. All right, like I said earlier, I think Spotlight is clear front ahead for this. Like I said, even if like something, whatever else comes in, starts winning every last award, on the planet compared to this, Spotlight is going to win this. Like I said earlier, like having not just Michael Keaton, Mark Ruffalo, Rachel McAdams, John Slattery, those guys in your cast. On top of that, you have who else am I missing there? Oh, it doesn't matter. The two guys that I think will clinch this for the Spotlight team of actors here is definitely Liev Schreiber and Stanley Tucci. Because you're going to be hard-pressed to find in the big, especially in the people who vote for this and the actors that vote for this, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a handful of people at least, or at most, well, maybe, whatever. You'll be surprised to find, if you can find anybody who hasn't worked with either Liev Schreiber or Stanley Tucci, because they both do like 3 or 4 movies a year. They are everywhere. Also, I'm finding Michael Stuhlbarg, I believe is the actor's name. He was in Steve Jobs. He was in Trumbo. He's in. I think he's in one more. I'm trying to think what else he's in. He's been in a lot of movies recently too. But anyways, those two. I mean, really, you're gonna really like hell. We could even go through. If we wanted to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever here, it's like you look through here. Like the other nominees, I mean, you could go through. I mean, I won't take the time now, but it's like you're going to be hard pressed to find anybody who hasn't worked with one of the two of them, or you could open it up to also, who hasn't worked with Ruffalo, Keaton, McAdams, and Slattery, and everybody else in the cast there. Yep. So I have that strongly positioned in first place. I mean, it's gonna be really hard to beat that one. Joy I have in second place. I have Steve Jobs in third, Hateful Eight in fourth, and I'm putting in a bit of a wild card here. The Big Short to be nominated tomorrow. Yeah, this. I mean, there's a few other potentials for that fifth slot, but I definitely think that Steve Jobs, Joy, and Spotlight are very safe here. Hateful Eight, more or less, but then again, you look at that ensemble too, and it's like you're again hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't worked with them. Um, let me name them off here: Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Walter Goggins is in there, Bruce Dern, Demian Bashir, Tim Roth. Who's the eighth person that I'm missing? Michael Madsen. Yeah, there's the whole cast. Plus, I hear, and I don't know for sure, apparently Channing Tatum's in the movie too, so that opens up a whole nother demo there as well. So that's like, yeah, again, you're hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't worked with them or knows them, too. Because I mean, freaking Samuel L. Jackson is in every other movie, it seems. I mean, he's in the Avengers movies, almost all of them. He's in his own projects, every couple months it seems. He does sometimes some straight to DVD stuff. I mean, he works with everybody. Boy, I'm thinking here. There's some threats here, like The Revenant could get in here, especially since I have it winning Best Picture right now. Usually the Best Picture nominee is here. Let's see here. Let's look through. Try to find the last time that a Best Picture winner wasn't at least nominated here for best cast. Because last year they went with Birdman. The year before they went with American Hustle, but 12 Years a Slave was nominated in the same year. Let's see here. Looking at recent films, Argo won here. That went on to win. The Artist was here. King's Speech won here. The Hurt Locker was even nominated here. Slumdog Millionaire, No Country for Old Men. The Departed was nominated here. Crash won here. Million Dollar Baby was here. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, Chicago, Beautiful Mind, Gladiator, American Beauty won here. Shakespeare in Love won here. Titanic was nominated here. The English Patient was here. You have to go back to the first year it happened. The first year it happened, 95 was the first Screen Actors Guild Awards. That I should say that had they were the second actual, but they were the first time they had the ensemble cast. I don't know. It's kind of weird how the first year they do it, they don't have like a Best Picture equivalent. It was just the four acting for film, and then it was a few more for for television and stuff. But you have to go all the way back to 1995 when they had Apollo 13 and Sense and Sensibility were the only two Best Picture nominees. They had Get Shorty, Nixon, and How to Make an American Quilt. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that before. They had those three in there as well that didn't end up with nominations for Best Picture. So, yeah, I'm definitely thinking The Revenant is very, 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 very a possible pick here. Then again, you have to think. This time last year, everybody said Boyhood's going to win. Boyhood's going to win, but and that ended up with a nomination here for Best Film Ensemble. Then again, with with Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke in there, it was going to be tough to see it left out. And the Best Picture frontrunner status definitely helped it. But then again, we have to think Birdman was was a lock to be nominated as well. And it even had a bigger pedigree to win here for Film Ensemble than Boyhood did. So, even though the tide kind of changed there as far as who's going to win Best Picture last year, they were both there. The Martian, I think, definitely has a pick. I mean, that definitely has a chance to get in. I mean, you've got Matt Damon, you've got Jessica Chastain, you've got, I think I had it at one point or another, I had The Martian getting in here. Like I said, those three, Jeff Daniels, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Kate Mara, not Rooney Mara, sorry, Sebastian Stan, Michael Pena, Kristen Wiig, the list goes on. All sorts of big actors in there, so and a big ensemble cast. And then you have Carol, which has been winning a few, like New York Film Critics Circle, has been nominated or maybe not nominated, but like runner-ups here and there for like L.A. for a couple of awards and stuff. So Carol, yeah, definitely could be a potential slot. You've got those two. You've got Kyle Chandler in there. Again, works with a lot of television people. Kyle Chandler, being on Friday Night Lights for all those years. I'm trying to think who else is in the cast. Yeah, big cast. But really, though, as we're looking through it, I closed out of it. I was going to make another point about it, but yeah, now I got to find it again. Hold on. The point here is usually we get in the best cast or best film ensemble nominees list. Usually, we'll find a film in here that has a huge, or maybe not huge, gigantic, but like a big cast, very likable, relatable, been worked with everybody cast, and and whether or not they're going to have a big shot at winning Best Picture or even being nominated, either way, they're usually here. Like last year, more or less, we could say the Grand Budapest Hotel, because that, I mean, gigantic. I mean, we could list off the names here just on here, like F. Murray Abraham, Adrian Brody, Ray Fiennes, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, and so on down the list. Like Leah Seydoux, Tilda Swinton, Tom Wilkinson, freaking Edward Norton, and Bill Murray. God damn, what a list of big actors in that film. Um, Again, worked with, again, you're hard pressed to find somebody else who works in Hollywood who wasn't in the film, number one, and then also who hasn't worked with any of them, number two. Um, like here, a couple of years ago, 2013, they had two films that kind of more or less did that. August Osage County, or Osage, however you want to pronounce it, and then Lee Daniels, The Butler. I mean, looking at August here, they had Chris Cooper, Benedict Cumberbatch, Margot Martindale, again, television, big one there, Ewan McGregor, Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, Sam Shepard in there, so that's a huge ensemble cast. And then we had like John in Lee Daniels' Butler. You had Forrest Whitaker, Oprah Winfrey, John Cusack, Jane Fonda, uh, Cuba Gooding Jr., Terrence Howard, James Marsden, David Oyelowo, whoever, I forgot how to pronounce his name already. Vanessa Redgrave, for crying out loud. Liev Schreiber, see what I mean? Hard pressed to find somebody who hasn't worked with them, right? And then the late Robin Williams is here too. So we see that. And then looking at 2012, even though it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, it had more or less, okay, maybe not a huge chance, but like, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, they had Judi Dench, Bill Nighy, Maggie Smith, Tom Wilkinson again. Even, Les Mis, even though it was safely positioned, big ensemble cast in that one too. The Help won here a few years ago, and that was again very safe. But like Bridesmaids made it in, even though it's mainly a lot of comedic actors and actresses in there. Yeah, so I think the last time really we had a cast here nominated for a film that more or less wasn't going to get in, but just basically got all sorts of recognition just for its cast was 2010, and that's when we had King's Speech, which was very safely predicted to be nominated. Black Swan, The Fighter, The Kids Are All Right, Social Network. And probably the biggest cast of those was King's Speech, which might have helped it. But then again, it was the big DGA PGA turn was happening, and that was when they were dumping Social Network, and King's Speech started winning stuff. So anyway, so I think The Big Short. I mean, you look at just those four main headliners: Steve Carell, Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, and Brad Pitt. Boy, you have a huge comedy star who was big in television, so many years on The Office, Steve Carell, Christian Bale, who, big popular films with the Batman trilogy and, the couple of David O. Russell films, and also Steve Carell nominated last year for Foxcatcher. Then you have Ryan Gosling, who, superstar, worked with Steve Carell before, he's done comedy, has done drama, been nominated before, big, and Christian Bale, of course, won before. And then you have Brad Pitt, who was Oscar nominated. I don't know if he quite got a credit on, or if he definitely got credit, but I don't know if he picked up an actual Oscar for 12 Years a Slave because there were so many producers on the film. But he was producer on that, and then on top of that, he's been in this career or in this thing since the '80s. Really, started out. He did some television work. He's been just in all sorts of movies, all over the map. Again, some comedies. Lots of dramas, vampire movies, even if you want to go back. Yeah, he's worked with like David Fincher and um, shoot, who's the guy who did Legends of the Fall? Yeah, obviously, like some of his bigger stuff, like working with all sorts of great directors out there. Yeah, Moneyball from a few years ago. Yeah, so he's I mean, you've got like two huge superstars who, are more or less, just, not, maybe not 100% known for their talent, whereas you have like Steve Carell and Christian Bale on this side with the more known for their talent, less, huge superstar wearing the sunglasses everywhere they go actors, and then you have Gosling and Brad Pitt who more fit that crowd, more or less. So, I think that, and then on top of that, in the supporting cast, you have like Melissa Leo in there. Marissa Tomei, I believe, is in there as well. Those are two more Oscar winners for you. I'm trying to think who else is in this movie. A whole bunch of other supporting actors in there that I can't think of. Michael Stuhlbarg probably he's in there somewhere. But yep, and then even like I was gonna say Blacksmith. That's not even close to right. Black Mass. Sorry, Black Mass. I think even though it came out early and a lot of its steam has just, with the exception for Johnny Depp, has just flatlined at, I don't have it getting nominated anywhere with the exception of Johnny Depp and maybe for makeup at the Oscars, but like I don't have it getting in for Golden Globes with the exception of Johnny Depp. I don't have it getting in at here with the exception of Johnny Depp. I don't have it getting into BAFTA except possibly with the exception of like a Johnny Depp, or maybe Joel Edgerton will have a better chance over there. He's an Australian, but they like their foreign. They really like foreign at BAFTA. Brooklyn, I think, has a little bit of a shot. Like I said, even though I have it really high ranked for Oscars, I think that's the passion votes for sure going to help that one out. And when you look at that ensemble, though, it's mainly Saoirse Ronan, Julie Walters, Domhnall Gleeson are like the only three that are very recognizable names that have worked with all sorts of people. Otherwise, the other actors and actresses there are at least to me, they weren't very huge familiar talents that I can say, oh, I've seen them in this and this and this, Whereas the other ones, I was able to recognize. And then Bridge of Spies, I think, is really, and Room, I think those, well, Youth maybe, but it would have to pull off that Best Actor as well for Michael Caine, and I don't quite see that happening. So I would say, Bridge of Spies, Room, and Youth are three other ones we really shouldn't count out too much either. Because Bridge of Spies, there's been some talk of people in the Academy who've been saying, oh yeah, a lot of us in the Academy have seen the film, the screener's been sent out, and they said, we really liked it a lot. And they just a few days ago, actually, not a few days ago, yesterday, they released the shortlist for visual effects. I won't go into that spiel now because it's a lot, but one of the 20 slots was Bridge of Spies, despite, having like maybe 3 effect shots in the movie. I don't know. Probably more than that. But, despite not being a heavy visual effects movie, if it's at least making the 20 film shortcut for that, oh boy, look out. I mean, probably we can count it in for all sorts of those technical nominations as well. So, I'm thinking that definitely has a shot here. And Room, even though I think it's really losing steam, like I said, hasn't been playing well at the box office. It's, I think, still in less than 200 theaters, so that doesn't help. I think they've got to, if they want, some more box office bank to maybe generate a little more buzz, they really have to start kicking it into 200, 300, 400, 500 more screens, theaters, I should say. It's got to be this weekend or next weekend. Because I think, Christmas is just going to be way too crowded. You have so many films going into major release. You have so many films going into limited release that are going to take up your slots, like Revenant. What's the other? Hateful Eight. You're going to have Anomalisa is going to be coming in soon for those limited. Really going to kick some snot out of them. You've got on top of that, Carol will be starting to expand closer to wide. I'm fairly certain. I thought I heard that somewhere, so maybe not. But on top of that, The Big Short will be in limited release, I believe, next Wednesday or next Friday. Either way, it'll open around the same time, and it'll start. Even though it goes wide, I think just a couple of days before Christmas, That'll be playing in some theaters, so that'll definitely steal your thunder there. Producers, whatever room, if you're listening right now, which I know you're not, but please start, and distributors too, start setting up those theater dates now, as in this minute, because it's Tuesday and they start releasing early theater counts on Thursday and Wednesday. So you've got to start lining those up if you haven't already. And I think that would definitely help. But then again, I think Brie Larson's about the only thing, besides maybe if Jacob Tremblay managed to get a spot. But Room, I really don't think. Oh boy, it's going to be really tough for it to get in tomorrow. All right. Yep, and like I said, Youth, it'll have to pull off that Michael Caine to show real support. Because other than Michael Caine, Jane Fonda, Rachel Weisz, and Harvey Keitel, again, and well, Paul Dano's in there too. So again, it's got that nice little cast, but kind of like Brooklyn, but it's not got that like 10, 15 people cast where you can recognize everybody, like Spotlight, like Joy, or like The Big Short, or to a lesser degree Steve Jobs. Hateful Eight has that. The Martian has that. Black Mass has that, but then again, like I said, it's really falling off. Bridge of Spies has a little bit of that too, even though that's more like maybe 7 or 8. But yeah. All right, I think we've covered everything here. I think I said this earlier, and I'm getting it to work out where I'm going to be tomorrow, I believe. And I was going to recheck this one more time because I've been checking this couple of times today just to make sure I have the right time. But I believe, and I'm one of those people that's I don't have a cable because I don't feel like having cable. Anyways, I don't have cable, so I'm not able to watch it on a TV screen. However, they will be, as far as I know, live streaming the nominations live tomorrow. So I need to double check on the time here so I make sure I'm up on time. It's 7 a.m. Pacific Standard, 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern. So I won't tell you where I'm at. So so I'll be doing that live. So I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, this will be the first time I've tried this. I've done a couple of videos here and there where Oscar reactions of like maybe a day or two after they're nominated, but this will be the first time I do it live. Do it live, as the videos say. All right. I think that's about all I've got to say on that. So look out for big things tomorrow. Some big splashing headlines tomorrow. Could be The Big Short getting in for film ensemble. Maybe we'll see. I didn't mention her too much into huge detail, but Kristen Stewart for supporting actress, I think, could definitely make some big headlines. If we saw like a Joel Edgerton getting in for Black Mass and supporting actor, that could be a big headline. Charlotte Rampling or a Maggie Smith, I think, would be definitely the biggest headline there. Or for Best Actor, if Tom Hanks gets in, that's a big one. Carol getting in for Best Film Ensemble would make a big headline. So I'm saying right now, just in case, so I can save my ass later, tomorrow, because the plan tomorrow is when I shoot the video, I'll shoot it live as they're announcing, and then I'll try to type, or maybe I'll type in simultaneously, so that way I can go back right after they're over. That way I don't have short-term memory loss, and I'll just be sitting there for 5 minutes wondering, who got nominated, without having to keep refreshing Wikipedia before they get it up. I'll try to type them in so I can react to it too right after it's over and say, okay, well, shoot, we missed this. What does this mean? How does this work? And so on. So we'll have that too. Hopefully, and it'll be. I'll probably have to be a little quiet because I don't want to get arrested at whatever o'clock in the morning. Anyways, so with that, we'll see you tomorrow. SAG nominations.